So, why are you so out of control and compulsive with gambling? Why are you struggling with a gambling addiction? How come you can't just gamble every so often and stay within your limits and means, or remain objective and in control? And today I'm going to tell you exactly what the issue is with compulsive gamblers. There are three types of gamblers as I identify them. So, first, you have social gamblers. And social gamblers are very similar to social drinkers. They don't have an issue with gambling. They do it for some, quick thrills every now and they never wager a lot of money, and they are able to stay in control in terms of what they're comfortable with losing. Then you have professional gamblers, and they also are able to stay in control of their gambling. In fact, they have to, because if they were out of control, they wouldn't ever profit and make money from it. Hence, being a professional gambler. Then we have our compulsive gamblers. Now, compulsive gamblers are not always reckless. And in fact, they can be in control and be very responsible with their betting. And some of them are actually really good with betting from time to time, especially when they place that first bet. So, what is the problem? The problem is they cannot stay in control. Our mind is kind of divided into these two aspects. One we call wise mind. That's the intelligent, rational, objective part of our brain. The other part of our mind we call emotional mind. Emotional mind is exactly what it sounds like. It's influenced by emotions. And so, therefore, it tends to be not rational, not so objective, more subjective and based on feeling. And there's a time and place for each kind of mindset. But when you're gambling, in order to stay in control, you have to stay in wise mind. And the problem with compulsive gamblers is they cannot consistently stay in wise mind. Those times when you were in control, those times when you actually did well at gambling, you were in wise mind. Now, there are some times you got lucky and you did well while being in emotional mind, but it's short-lived. Stay in emotional mind too long and you are destined to fail and lose a lot of money and be completely reckless and out of control. Professional and social gamblers can stay in wise mind. Compulsive gamblers are often not always in emotional mind, but the problem is they can't maintain that wise mindset. And eventually they're going to shift into emotional mind. Sometimes it happens before you even place that first bet. You're so excited and you want that high and you want that thrill. You're already in emotional mind. Other times you start off in wise mind and you're placing very responsible bets and you're able to be objective and stay within your guidelines or means in terms of what you consider responsible. But that only lasts a short time. And all it takes is to slip into emotional mind for just a couple bets, and you could lose everything that you've won and really put yourself in the hole. So next time those urge thoughts come at you and they say things like, hey, you can be in control. Remember that time when you were in control? You can do well at this. Remember that night you did really well? What you need to say to those urge thoughts is, yeah, but you're really looking at this out of context. Those are little blips on the screen. Sometimes I can be in control, and sometimes I can be in wise mind, but it's only a matter of time before I slip into emotional mind and I'm off to the races and I'm reckless and out of control. And why? Because the goals are very different. When you're in wise mind, you want to be responsible, you want to be objective about your bets and make bets that aren't going to set you back if you lose. When you're in wise mind, you really are trying to be responsible and even trying to make a profit. When you're in emotional mind, you crave emotion. Emotion in the form of thrill, sensation seeking, excitement, anticipation. Those goals are mutually exclusive, meaning you cannot achieve both goals, at least not consistently. You're either in wise mind and being responsible and possibly even positioning yourself to make some money, or you're in emotional mind and you are just betting for excitement. And if you're betting for excitement and thrills, you're betting recklessly. Because in order to get those thrills, you have to take risks and be kind of on the edge of your seat. Compulsive gamblers, a lot of times, will say, I just want this to be a side hustle and make a little bit of extra money on the side. I just want this to be an extra source of income. The problem is they're lying to themselves. That is not their main goal. Their main goal is to get high, just like anybody with a drug or alcohol problem. Your bets keep increasing, not only over the period of your lifetime, but also just in the short term. They could literally increase in one night, where you start off at $100 bets because you're in wise mind, and by the end of the night, you're placing $1,000 bets. Why? Because in your mind, an emotional mind, more is better. More money on the line, more risk. It's not any different from somebody with an alcohol addiction that also thinks more is better, right? How many times have you seen somebody with a drinking issue and what happens? They don't stop after 4 or 5 drinks. They keep going because to them, more is better. And you might look at them and say, what's wrong with them? Why aren't they good having 4 or 5 drinks? That's plenty because you don't have a problem with it. And you're able to stay in wise mind when you drink, let's say, whereas they are not, because they are looking for the high. They are looking for that emotional benefit. And it's no different with compulsive gambling. Emotional mind equals risk, recklessness, and sensation seeking, thrill seeking, wanting to get that high. This is Dr. Eric Fields. I'm a psychologist specializing in gambling addiction. If you need any kind of support or assistance with this, please don't hesitate to check out my webpage, which is attached to the Learn More link below. And please feel free to comment and like this video.